I don't know if I've caught you out. I didn't announce that I was doing a live video because I actually wasn't sure myself that I was going to do one. But here I am, and I'm going to do a little video because I know a few people missed the launch that I did on the weekend, the catalogue launch, and a couple of people had commented that they wished that they lived more close to me, that they could actually be part of it. And I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to be making one of the cards from our launch. So not all three, not all of them, but not all three projects, but we are making one of the cards today. So I'm going to turn the video around. I won't be able to see when you if you comment, but please feel free, and at the end I'll check back and answer all the comments and messages and any questions, and I hope that you will enjoy it. It's not a very long one today, it's just one of the a very quick project from the weekend. So let's see how we go. I'm going to turn this around. Okay, and here we go. Pop it into the stand. How are we doing? Is everyone able to see that okay? I might just smooth this up a little. There we go. Okay. All right. So welcome to my craft studio today, and to this little Facebook Live video. This is one of the projects that we made at Saturday's launch, and it's a very simple card. In fact, it's actually copied, or case we like to call it. And case, if you're wondering, case stands for copy and share everything. And that is very much encouraged here at Stampin' Up. So this is one of the cards that we did, these ones, and it features some of the new Year of Cheer paper, which is just beautiful, and I'll show you that in a moment. And also in the background here you can see the snowflake. It's called the Winter Wonder embossing folder, and I've really honed in on the copper tones in this card because I just really love copper. So excuse me. So I'm going to put it together. It won't take very long at all. It's a very quick one. Because I had a big group on Saturday at the launch, I kept it very simple. So this is actually, I've gone ahead today as well, and I've actually pre-embossed the Winter Wonder snowflake here onto a piece of Whisper White cardstock. But the reason that I've done that is obviously with such a big group, we didn't have time for everyone to get to the big shot. But also, when you run it through, you'll see this is it here. When you run it through, it has an embossed side, which is where the design is raised, and a debossed side, which obviously is when the design is actually depressed. You need to be careful we don't use that word too much, but it's actually, it indents into the paper, and both sides look good. So this side on the reverse here is actually the embossed side, so you can see that you may or may not be able to see that the design is raised, and on the back here it is debossed into the paper. Okay, now I've actually for the card today used the debossed side. Not only do I actually prefer that with this particular design, but I also think it's easier if we're sticking elements over the top like we did here. It's easier for them to stick because the background is flat, so they've got more to stick to, whereas if you do it on the other side it's more bumpy and they don't stick as well. So I like the debossed side for that reason as well. Okay, so the paper that we're using, what this circle here is cut from, is actually this gorgeous, I don't know if you can see it, I've shown it before as well. It's called Year of Cheer, and it is a foil paper design. There are 3 sheets of each design, so you get 3 of this one, and it's got copper leaves, and this colour here, the berries, is actually called Champagne, and that's a new foil colour. We actually have the foil Champagne, which you can see I've chopped up some, and I've got a bit here as well because we're using that as well, and it's the same colour as the berries. Very blingy. There are also other colours in the same set. There's this gold. You can see I've chopped mine up. So this is just as my leftovers. These beautiful gold tartan kind of look, and it's all shiny as well. There's also, I haven't got much of this one left, little silver and gold two-tone snowflakes. And if you don't think silver and gold go together, just tell Pandora that, because some of their more expensive charms are the two-tone ones, half silver, half gold. So obviously there's a lot of people out there that like that look as well. And then there's also these kind of fireworks ones, which I haven't used yet. I'm planning to, but they have champagne foil in this design. So it's not actually silver. If you're wondering about champagne, I'll just bring that piece back in. It's sort of somewhere between silver and copper. You can see how different it is to the copper. but it's got more of a pinky tone than the silver. I think it's closer to the silver, but if you put the silver and the champagne together, they are quite different. So just to give you a bit of an idea anyway. Anyway, that's that beautiful paper. It's a specialty paper, so it's just a few dollars dearer than the regular DSPs. So a regular DSP in Australia costs $19.25. The specialty DSPs are $22. Oh, I really should be checking this. I think it's $22.75, but I will confirm that down in the comments below. I'm pretty sure it's $22.75. Okay, so I'm starting with this. I've run it through. Now, I think you get a lot of extra mileage out of this snowflake if you actually don't try and center it and you actually move it to one side. You can use it centered. I did a really nice card which was up on my blog just a week ago or so, maybe a little more, with a centered snowflake on the champagne in the middle of a square card. That is just behind me. I'll grab it so you can see it. There you go. That's it there. Okay, so that one's centered, and then I didn't center my sentiment. I had it more to the right because I always like things to be a little off center, a bit like my personality probably. But I think it just adds a little bit more character if you don't perfectly center everything. It's nice to have something just to add that spark of interest. So I find this snowflake works really, really well, just a little off center, and it makes it a little bit more interesting. And then we're going to be adding the other elements. So I'm going to, before I start punching, I've got a piece of Whisper White here, and this piece here, actually I think that one's slightly flatter, that's a better example. This piece here shows you all the lovely copper and gold and silver tones in there. There's a bit of a trend around at the moment called mixed metallics, and so that's actually mixing up your various foils and things, and that's what this washi tape does so beautifully. It's one of my favorite washies ever, this one. And all I'm doing is I'm just going to rip that off, and I'm just going to put a strip. It just has to be wider than the circle, so it doesn't matter which one you put next to which one. I mean, you can be selective if you want to, but I don't think it really matters. And I'm just going to line them up next to each other. This is the copper, solid copper. So we've got the gold first, and then the silver, then the copper. But you can do yours in any order you like. This one is a mixture of copper and champagne, so it's really sort of like a variegated design. I'm putting that down here. I haven't used the gold yet, so I'm going to go with gold now. So I'll just line them all up next to each other. Just flatten that one down. And you just rip them off wherever, it doesn't really matter. They just need to be long enough that your punch is going to be completely covered. Now, this is the punch I'm going to be using, this smaller one here. And this is actually a 1.5 inch punch. But when I put this in, you'll see I haven't quite covered all the white that I'm going to need for this one. So I could add more of these ones, or I could just add another one of this gold zigzaggy. It looks like zippers to me. And that's going to be enough probably to cover the whole thing. So let's have a little look. Yep, it is. If you don't want these stripes to be all down the middle, if you'd like them to be off to one side, you could add a bit more of something if you're going to add anything. I'd be adding the copper because that's my favourite. So I'll just do that for a little bit of interest over at one side. Okay, and so then all I'm doing is punching out the whole thing. So I now end up with a blingy foil circle made from washi tape and punched out. So very cute. Alright, so I'm just going to pop that to one side. I'm also going to need, using the 1 3/4. So we've used the 1.5, the first one for the smallest circle. The 1 3/4 I'm punching out of the champagne. Obviously you could use other foils if you prefer, but I'm having a lot of fun using this one because it's a new colour. So now I've got these two. And my biggest circle I'm going to get out of this beautiful paper. I'm going to get a couple of berries in there. Alright, so I've got my 3, and then I'm going to position them on my paper. Now also on the one I did on the weekend, I added a little bit of this like just to have an extra element, a little bit of a metallic thread underneath here, and that's underneath the one that's flat. So the champagne one is flat and these two are up on dimensionals. So I'll do that. I'm going to add some snail or whatever adhesive you like to the back of my, and make sure I put a fair amount on. And then I've got some copper metallic tape here. We have a number of things available in copper. If you're in the store, when you search up the word copper in the store, you'll see lots of things come up. We've got copper foil, the paper, which is this stuff, and we've got copper thread like this. We've got copper embossing powder. So there's a number of things. Oh, there's also, oh, I don't know if I have any out on the table. I'm not using it today, but there's also some copper trim, which is very pretty. And I'm just going to cut that off there. Ooh, what do I do with my scissors? There they are. And you can see I've just sort of got that, and it's sort of a little bit everywhere. That's fine. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to have it behind here. I'm going to stick it to that snail I put down, and I just want a little bit of a ruffled look, and I want that coming out here. I've got that off to one side. Then this one here, this is the next one. I'm going to use dimensionals, and I'm going to pop that on. 3 or 4 dimensionals under a circle like this is usually plenty. It's only a fairly small circle. The 1 3/4 inch punch. And so the largest punch, sorry, this is the 2 inch. This is the largest one. I'll confirm all that with you in a second. So I've used now 1 flat and 1 with dimensionals over the top. And this little guy here, I want him sort of to be here so that my snowflake is poking out. So I'm going to have a dimensional under this side, but on this side I don't want a dimensional as well, or it would end up wonky. So I'm just going to put 1 dimensional on this side, and I'm going to put snail on that side. Take my dimensional off, and there we go, just like that. Alright, so we're almost finished. It's very easy, isn't it? I've got some soft suede ink here, and I've got one of the stamps from the Cheers to the Year stamp set, which is part of this whole suite of products. So this one is the Season's Greetings. This is a good set because it's not limited to Christmas. You've got your Christmas stuff, so but you've also got New Year, Cheers to a New Year, and you've got a Mr. and Mrs. So you can even do weddings with it. There is a snowflake, but there's also kind of little fireworks and circles and lots of cool things that can translate to all year round. So don't think this is a limiting set. It's not just about Christmas, which is awesome, and that makes it definitely worth a look. So I'm using the Season's Greetings because we are doing kind of a Christmas card today, and I'm just going to pop that down in that bottom corner like so. And I'm actually going to put this together. I'm just using snail, but you can use, like, you know, whatever whatever type of paper you'd like. Sorry, whatever adhesive you would like. And I'm just going to position that in the middle of my copper piece. If you don't have copper, you could also use a soft suede backing this piece behind. So the piece behind, the copper piece I've got here, or if you were using soft suede or even crumb cake, they would also work well. I just really love going overboard on copper because I can never get enough of it, but that's just a personal thing. That piece is 10 centimeters wide by 14.35 centimeters high, so just under 14.5. And then this is the big card base is half a sheet of A4, just cut, so a piece of A4 just cut in half, and then I'm just going along and scoring it or folding it exactly in half. Backs of dimensionals stuck everywhere, and I'm just going to put. So you could use snail, but you could also use fuss views. You could use tear and tape, whatever type of adhesive you like to put this all together. Now the last thing, I just want to give you a little tip. The last thing as you're putting this together is I've also used some metallic sequins, which are these ones. These are called the metallic sequin assortment, and I didn't spot them in the big catalogue at first because they're kind of hidden. There's no picture of them. There's two different sequin assortments, and there's a picture of the other one, but these ones were just written about, and it wasn't until I actually got them, I got them given to me on the Thailand incentive trip as a prize, and when I saw them I went, oh, actually those are really beautiful. So now I'm kind of telling everybody about them because they're really easy to miss. So I'm just using a couple of copper pieces. Now when it comes to how do we attach these, the bigger sequins in the sequin assortments actually attach quite well with glue dots. So if I just find a glue dot, you can put the sequin straight onto the glue dot, give it a push, and the glue dot gets hidden quite well. Actually, that's not where I want it, but anyway, you get the idea. Just reposition that. And so that's one way to attach them. And people do ask me quite a bit, how do I attach sequins? Also the fine tip glue pen is really, really good. So for example, if I wanted to put on one of the little sequins, because there's little tiny weeny ones in here, let me grab one of those. You may find you want a pair of tweezers. Sometimes they're so little they can be hard to pick up. And just say I decide I want one here. Just a dot of glue with the fine tip glue pen, and then pop the sequin that you want to use onto the dot of glue, and it just takes a few minutes to dry, and then that's attached as well, and it won't be going anywhere. So I find those are probably the best ways to attach your sequins, either with glue dots for the bigger sequins, or you could use the fine tip glue pen for either the normal size sequins or the little ones as well. So completely up to you, but both those ways are very successful. And maybe keep a pair of tweezers around to help you get them out of the, because I find the worst part is I've got to pull out several to get the one I want. There we go, just pop that there like that. And there you go, another card, and it's done. So very, very easy little card. So we made 10 of these with all of us, 10, well, plus mine, so that was 11 on Saturday, and I'm pretty sure everyone liked it. It's a cute little card and very, very simple. This is actually a copy of a card that's in our holiday catalogue, so it's not my idea, this design. And if you're looking, the Cheers to the Year's suite is on page 36 and 37, and they've got some beautiful samples here, but this is very similar to the one I just created. So you can see the 3 circles there. They've actually stamped Cheers to a New Year on one of the circles, which is the one I put my washi on, and they've used some sequin trim behind that, and I didn't use sequin trim today. Also, I think they've used the embossed side of the snowflake and I've used the debossed side, so just a few little differences. There's no washi at the top and the bottom, but you can see where I got the idea from anyway. I just thought it was such a beautiful card. It was a shame not to recreate it, even if it was slightly tweaked by me. So I hope you like that. There's a bit of fun, and there's a couple of little tips in there today to show you how to put the sequins on and how to do the metallic trim, and just a few little things that I hope will help you as you're doing your own crafting. If you have any questions, please just let me know, comment down below. Or the other thing is, of course, if you would like to see more YouTube videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button, because I am going to upload this to YouTube. So I have a whole channel of videos and tips over there, and I try and add to it at least once a week, if not twice. So I hope you're having a great day, whatever you're doing. Thanks for being with me today, and we'll see you soon. Bye.